All right, and almost a month later, almost a month later, um, this is an experiment, episode 26. Today is Wednesday, October 27th, 2021. Uh, why has it been so freaking long? Okay, well, first of all, when's the last time I did this? When's the last time I did one of these? October 3rd. Well, I don't know what happened between October 3rd and it would have been somewhere around October 10th, 9th, something like that. My mom came to visit and she ended up staying for 2 weeks. So she just left 4 days ago. And it was good. It was nice. I don't think I debriefed from that whole experience. That's probably, today I was kind of like, I just feel like really kind of on edge. And I feel like there's a lot of things that I didn't debrief from. And this is, doing this experiment has been a bit of a, my own opportunity to work through my own thoughts and my own ideas and kind of track my progress and reflect and think about, where I'm at, where I've been, and where I want to go, and what I want to do, and where I want to be, and all of that stuff. And it's like so much shit has happened in the last month, kind of. Depending on how you look at it. One of the things that kind of bothers me, I thought for a long time, I maybe not, I don't know. I kind of got to this point where I was like, school, like going back to school is out of the question. It's done. Like there's, the ship has sailed. The boat has left port. It's just not going to happen. I'd reached that point. That's the conclusion I'd gotten to. And there were occasions where, going back to school became a topic of conversation with my parents. Like, well, you could, and I'd bring up the, I guess, belief, because I don't know what to call it. My own belief that that my opportunity has passed. I've had my chances. Like I've exhausted all my resources, and that school just wouldn't happen, even if I wanted to. Even if I wanted to go back to school, like it just wasn't. You know, it wasn't. It didn't seem like it was feasible. Because XYZ, all the resources and all of that stuff. And the thing that both my parents kept saying is, well, if you want to, there's a way, or blah blah blah, whatever. I don't know. My dad was like, yeah, I went back to school and got my master's while I was raising you and your brother. And my mom went back and got her actual bachelor's, because I don't know what the technique. Anyway, both my parents went back to school in some capacity while raising two kids. So the general message that I received from them is, well, if you really want to, then it's, there's probably a way to make it happen, if you want to. If and not there's a way to make it happen, like we'll help you, but just the, if it's something that you want, it's not like people haven't done it before and people won't do it in the future. And there's plenty of people that go back to school. And while it may seem like the resources aren't there, if you want to, there's probably a way to make it happen. Inspire. Yay. Okay, cool. So I started considering that. And then I finally got to the point where I was like, you know what? That is what I want to do. I want to go back to school. I want to study neuroscience. I mean, the coaching thing isn't quite panning out. And honestly, I just want to take all of my knowledge to like, I want to take it up a bunch of notches that I wouldn't be able to get by just reading a bunch of books. I mean, maybe, yeah, probably, but even still, there's going through the kind of curriculum that it takes to get that type of degree is, there's a reason people go to school for it. they get their certifications from universities because you don't get the same experience by just reading a bunch of books. Also, I just want receipts and just to be able to say that I did it. And so I went out on a whim and I applied to study neuroscience at the University of Iowa, and starting the fall of 2022. I had no idea if I was going to get in or not. Uh, no idea. But that was the first step. Is it actually possible? And the reason that I chose, University of Iowa is because one, it will offset tuition costs because I'd be able to get in-state tuition. Two, it's closer to home, so I can be closer to my family. Now they're getting older. Three, it's a really solid, really solid medical and sciences university. Not so much on the tech and engineering is over in anyway, but yeah, it was they have a good program. They have a small program, so it's not like 800 students competing for a handful of faculty's attention or whatever. It's big enough, but not too big. But yeah, just a bunch of reasons why, and a big reason being that I would be able to get a tuition cut for being in state. They have minority scholarships. If you went to a Iowa community college, there's grant opportunities, just all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I applied. I was like, this feels right. It feels like if this was a place that I was going to study, it's a great spot to start. And not even sure if I would get in. And while my mom was in town, I got my acceptance letter. I got an email notification. They'd reviewed my application, and I've been accepted to the University of Iowa, not Northern, University of Iowa, to study neuroscience, a declared neuroscience major, which is huge. There's my parents didn't know that I was applying for it either. Part of it was because I didn't want, I didn't know if I was going to get in. It's like, I don't want to bring it up as a thing, like me moving back to Iowa and all of this stuff, on the supposed chance, maybe what if I get in? It's like, I want to see if it's just a possibility first. Could I even attend if I wanted to? And then I got accepted. And when I told my parents, I guess I don't know what I was expecting. I guess I was kind of expecting some sort of, congratulations for getting in to school at a university as a transfer student after dropping out of college 5 times at 3 different universities. I mean, look, I do not have the best academic background. I don't at all. But I'm also I'm fundamentally different person now than any of the times that I've been in college. And one of the differences is that I'm actually studying something that's not music. Music major, getting a degree in music is hard. but yeah, I thought it'd be like, oh wow, this is, cool, or I don't know, like, or some sort of congratulations, or like, good job, or you take it. But it was like crickets, not even crickets. The first thing that I sensed was pushback. There wasn't even a little bit of It was straight to, well, how are you going to pay for it? How's this going to happen? What are you going to do? Like, well, all of this stuff. And there wasn't even like, that the little sliver of time at the beginning to be like, well, that's awesome. And you're taking proud of you for taking the initiative to pursue something that you're passionate about, you know, something like that. It wasn't even that. It was straight to the pushback. Well, how are you going to make this happen? What are you going to do? It's like you're the one that gave me the idea that it was actually possible. You're the one, like, you're the ones that inspired me to want to go back and do this. You're the one that made me feel like it was actually possible. And then I go to do it, and then you're the first ones that start questioning if it's actually possible. That's my life with my parents, I swear. Don't get me wrong, I love my parents. And I know my parents love and support me. They do. And they would do anything to, see me happy and succeed and all of that. And I love them for it. But their cynicism and skepticism is, sorry, there were like gunshots outside. Uh their cynicism, guys, come on. Their cynicism and skepticism is just like insufferable. It I'm gonna look that word up right now to make sure that I'm not using it and uh inappropriately, but yeah, it's insufferable. Like their cynicism and skepticism is insufferable. I can't, like, and it's no wonder, it's no wonder for me growing up, the reason that I felt like life was so like doomed and meaningless and stupid and there was no hope for anything is because I was raised in a household of skepticism and cynicism, trying to hide myself from the world. The first questions that are asked are what could go wrong? The first things that are addressed are why can't this happen? But it's not from a place of asking these questions so we can come to a solution. It's like pumping brakes. Nope. Here's some cynicism, skepticism. Nope. 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 Um, and even when I actually do something that I think they will be supportive of me in, that they would be happy to see me do, I there's not even that like flash of like, congratulations, that's awesome. I'm proud of you for taking initiative and pursuing something that you're passionate about. First thing was, I don't know what to say. My dad literally asked me, "What do you expect from us?" And I was like, I was kind of like taken aback. Well, what do and what he meant was, what resources do I expect to get from them in order to make it happen? That's what he meant from what do I expect from them. All I What did I expect from them? To say that they're proud of me for taking a risk, taking a chance, putting myself out there, being optimistic that I could actually do. That's what I expected. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that there's not a couple times where the thought crossed my mind of, do you really want to go to school to study this, or are you just trying to make mom and dad happy because you need validation from them for some reason? I mean, it can be both. but I do. I want to prove it to myself. But after that kind of thing where they was, I don't know what to say. I don't know how you think this is gonna happen. Blah, with when all it, everything was thrown up. This is why it can't happen. I don't know why you're thinking about this. Don't I this? There's no winning. There's no winning. That kind of bothers me. Not the winning thing, but just that whole experience. And I get it. Here's the thing. My parents move slow and they move small. It's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But I don't move that way. I don't move that way. I don't move slow and I don't move small. If I'm going to move, I'm going to move big and fast. Or at least I'm going to do my best to make it happen that way. If it doesn't actually happen that way, you know, not everything can go exactly how we want it to, but you can do your best to make it happen the way you want it to. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least you were able to say you did your best. And we see the world fundamentally different. You know, one of the things that my dad said too, this kind of irked me. Um, he said, yeah, it'd be nice to, have you, back in Iowa, and I don't remember exactly the content, but he said something to the effect of, I'm not sure how much of the, conservative South has rubbed off on you and all of that stuff. And it triggered me because it's like, because I don't have the same political ideology that my parents have. I don't. Is that a bad thing? No. And the thing is that this is the big problem that I have with bipartisan politics in general. For me, I'm a centrist and a moderate. And so for someone like me, the Republicans and the conservatives will say that I'm a liberal, and the liberals and Democrats will say that I'm conservative and Republican because they're out here. They're out here, and I'm like right here. And so I'm to the right, and it's like, so if I'm around liberals and I'm not liberal, then I'm a conservative. And if I'm around conservatives and I'm not conservative, then I'm liberal. And it's like, no, I just have centrist, moderate political viewpoints because I feel like we can meet in the middle. Let's compromise. Isn't that what democracy is all about? I guess not. Anyway, I digress. Um, and I think one of the things 11/11, heyo, and right as I said that, the time was 1911. So many signs. The thing is that it's almost like I felt like the undertone of that message, the undertone of what of the there's the words that he was saying, and then there was the underlying message. And the underlying message is you're less than because conservative values. That's what I received from that. You went down in the South, and now we think that some of the conservative stuff rubbed off on you, and that's a bad thing. What if maybe I just started thinking for myself and my viewpoints changed over time because I didn't spend my entire fucking life living in the same state? You know, my dad, born and raised in Iowa, Iowa boy. I think he went to college somewhere else for a little bit. Born and raised in Iowa. Born, raised, lived, and will probably die in Iowa. Never lived anywhere outside of the state for any extended period of time. My mom, born and raised in Ohio, moved to Iowa and stayed there. So she kind of gets it. I think she would get it more than my dad does. Anyway. But no, look, I was raised in Iowa. I spent 4 years in New Jersey. I spent another 5 years here in Nashville. I mean, like, you can't live in such different places and with such different cultures and expect to not have some viewpoints change. You can't see the world. You can't live in different cultures and expect to have the same belief structure on the other side. I've got a more realistic outlook on what the rest of the world looks like. Not saying it's, I mean, because, compared to people that have spent 2 years in one place, another year in another place, and 3 years in another place, and they just kind of bounce around. They've lived in like 7 different states, varying degrees of time all over across their lives. I mean, they've seen some stuff, but at any rate, that's what I felt from that message, from those words that my dad said, that being down in the South, not sure how much of the conservative Republican viewpoint, I don't even know exactly what the words were, but how much that's rubbed off on you. Almost like he was disappointed or something. I was watching a show, and the character, I'm not gonna bore with details, but the character said something. There goes my mom again, undercutting my confidence in ways that I didn't know existed, and that's how I feel about some of this stuff sometimes. Is that my confidence is getting undercut. My individuality is being undercut. How dare you have a mind of your own? How dare you have different political viewpoints than we do? That's what I heard. Now, maybe that's not the message that was intended to be sent. Probably wasn't, right? Probably didn't mean anything by it. Well, you'd probably say that, but here's the thing. I would argue nobody says anything for no reason at all. I firmly believe that nobody says anything for no reason. If you say something, there's a reason that you're saying it. If you say something to someone, it's because you want them to know that that's what you're thinking. Do you regret some of the stuff that you say sometimes? Absolutely. Does it come across different than what you'd intended? Sure. Are people deserving of forgiveness for those instances? I don't see why not. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. So I got triggered, so I have to work through my own shit, and I have to, and it's like, this is my biggest problem. I feel like I have to do all of the heavy lifting when it comes to healing work for this family. I have to take all of their shit, and then I have to process it. because they won't do it. They're stuck in their ways. I can't blame them for it. They're in their 60s, almost, late 60s. Take someone in their late 60s that hasn't, you know, you watch the same news, same stations, you go to the same places, you talk to the same people. Decades. Get pretty stuck in your ways. Confirmation bias. Not allowing for cognitive. It's and it's not a them thing. It's not a them thing. And they just don't understand. They don't understand. And that's okay. I'm not going to try to make them understand. I'm not going to try to force them to understand. They just don't get it. I'm an optimist. That was raised by pessimists and cynics. I'll never forget it. I was having some conversation with my mom one time. What she said was, I wish I didn't teach you to dream so big, or something like that. Something to that effect. That I dream too big, I think too big, that I look too big, that I want too much, or whatever. I don't know. It's like, you want a small life for me. Trying to trying to live a small life just isn't. There's no part of me that's lived a small life up until this point. And that's what they want. I can what they want for me is what they have for themselves. The life that they want for me is the life that they had for themselves. You get a job with a company and you work that job for that company for 8, 10, 12 years, something like that, 15 years, I don't know. And then maybe after going through all of that, you find a new opportunity, either with the same company or a new company that's significantly better. And then you go work at that company for another 8, 10, 15 years until retirement. And you don't do anything. Save your money for when you're retired so that you have money to pay people to take care of you when you can't take care of yourself anymore. I refuse that reality. To get to a point in life, in the future, where I can't take care of myself. And what I mean by that, let's define that real quick. When I think them say we can't take care of ourselves anymore, when you can't take care of yourself, what I perceive that is, you can't drive yourself anywhere. You can't go grocery shopping. You can't, you can't even think, you know. I don't accept that as being a possible reality for me. Getting to the point where I'm laying in a nursing home somewhere, getting spoon fed applesauce, not being able to remember who my friends and family are, not a reality that I'm willing to accept. And I'm going to do everything in my fucking power to make sure that that doesn't happen. That's me. Some other people aren't like that. I think one of the things that annoys me the most that people do is they use your worst moments against you as leverage. They take your lowest moments, your ugliest points, the most difficult of trials and tribulations, and they use those moments as evidence of why you can't. Use that as evidence of why you can't. You have so much potential. And now that you're actually trying to do something with that potential, let's take all of these worst moments of yours and use them against you. It sucks. It really does. So I guess that's one thing that I had to get off my chest. But I'm still going forward, still pushing forward. I want to get the BS in neuroscience, study behavioral neuropsychology in graduate work or postgraduate, whatever. I don't know how academia works yet. I'll figure that out when I'm closer to that point. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. I just got the idea of using that as a basis to become some sort of holistic doctor or something. I don't know. Just popped in my head. What if? I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. At any rate. I really do just want to nail this thing in that this isn't a reflection of resentment or anything like that or disdain towards my parents. A bit of a vent of frustration, sure. I still love my parents and I know they love me and I know they want the best for me and they want me to be happy. They just want to, see me succeed and they have their own, reluctances about things and they have their own particular way of processing things and working through things and that takes them more time to kind of settle into ideas and all of that. Um, So if they ever see this or any family sees it or anything like that, I just want it to be known that there is no ill will, no resentment, no disdain, no anything, right? It's like it's just we see the world differently, and the way I see it is a stark contrast to them and their status quo. And so for that reason, there's two ways that can play out. You know, with me having my worldview that is a stark contrast to their status quo, is one, uh, I try to force them to accept my viewpoint, or I accept that they will not understand my viewpoint no matter how hard I try to help them understand. No matter how much I try, no matter how hard I try, no matter what I do to try to break it down, the fact of the matter is they've reached old age, and their minds and their bodies are stuck in their way, and it can change. It's not too late. It's never too late, but there's no desire. There's no desire to change, for things to be different. And as I always say, if you don't desire change, then change won't happen. Most people don't want change anyway. But the truth is that if you don't make changes, then someone else will make them for you, and then you have to accept that. It's just truth. So if I want to have a viewpoint, because the other thing is I can just have complete disregard for them and their feelings and their viewpoints and all that stuff, and just kind of shrug all of it off and completely, but that puts strain on the relationship. So I'm the one that's always, so I have to reduce the strain, because they won't understand. They won't try to understand. They don't care to understand. Because if they did, they would ask. There's time, though. Who knows? The best I can do is lead by example. It's worked all right so far, kind of. Oh, yeah, it feels good to get that one off my chest. I was really realizing that I'm kind of alone again. Like, but as I reflect upon the last couple days today, I'm getting more kind of like on edge, constantly. What I realized was missing is human connection. Kind of, I mean, like, it was. It when my mom was here, it's like it put its own kind of twist on everything, and I kind of had to switch up how I was running my life and all of that. But it was at least nice to have another human in the house. You go from having another human around to being completely by yourself. That's not great either. So I need more humans in my life. I need more people, like real life people. I get some of that from Lowe's, though, so that's nice. I fucking hate that job, though. Yeah, as soon as I can make the money to not have to work there anymore, I'm going to not work there anymore. But for the time being, I'm gonna work there. It's a good company to work for, sure. Um, I'm just underutilized. That's how I would describe it. Showing people where light bulbs are and helping them find different types of wires and light switches and outlets, and mostly helping people find light bulbs. And I make the best of it, and I show up, and I have a good attitude, and I joke around and have a good time and try to introduce some life into, but it's like I could be doing so many other, like, more important things than showing people where to find light bulbs. Do people need someone to help them find light bulbs? Sure. But, like, talk about, like, I'm capable of doing so much more than that. The ironic part of that, the irony, is that I had a client that was thinking about getting a part-time job. Rico. Thinking about getting a part-time job, and I convinced him not to because it didn't make sense, because he had a business that could print money right around the same time that I ended up getting actual side job, because I don't have a business that can print money. But the thing is, it's like, yeah, if I could make money some other way, then I wouldn't be doing this, but I can't. And I wish that I had my old job back running sound, but that, not an option. Not that I'm going to be around that much longer anyway. Leaving Nashville, moving up to Iowa City. I'm going to go to the University of Iowa and study neuroscience. I'm going to get a fucking degree. I'm going to say, what's up now, bitches? I'm going to pay my way through my undergraduate with a business teaching mindset. I don't know. Yeah. Yep. What do I really want? I want to go somewhere that's not here and write my book. If only I had a computer, a laptop, I suppose I could take my iPad and do it somewhere. Or Google Docs. I mean, why not? Where would I go? Just need to get out. I need to, like, I don't know what I need. I need to, you know what I'm really trying to say is I need to escape because I don't want to deal with the situation that I put myself in. Ouch. Yeah, I'm looking for an escape because I don't want to deal with the situation that I put myself in. It's okay. It's bedtime. You got to get some rest. All right. Peace out, Girl Scout. This was an experiment, episode 26. I think it was. Yeah, it's an experiment, episode 26. Peace.